There just is not much inventory here. So it's quite different from the rest of the country where inventory is high and things are staying on the market a long time. In the better neighborhoods, I'm here in Lincoln Park and the surrounding areas here in Chicago. And in these neighborhoods, things just, they go like right away. And because of that, developers are desperate to find sites because there aren't that many sites. And so they're practically fighting over these. When something good comes on the market, there's a bidding war.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today we're joined by Roger Luri, a real estate developer in Chicago and leader at LD2 Development. Roger focuses on identifying, structuring, and executing development opportunities in Chicago, known for its complexity, and his work involves navigating zoning, city approvals, construction, deal economics to bring projects from conception to completion while creating long-term value. Roger, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dylan. Good to be with you.
Now, when we talk about developing in Chicago, as I was mentioning in the green room, complex market to develop in. How long have you been active out there?
I have been doing this since the early 1990s. So it's been a while. Been around for a minute.
Now, if we go back to the early 90s, right? And we go back to those first development projects, was it a totally different process from the cradle to the grave? Was there any similarities between where it is now, or is it just so different, not just with the technology, but with approvals, with regulations, that it's almost like two different businesses entirely?
I wouldn't say that really. It's never been, it's always been complex, and it's just more now, and while the market, of course, has changed dramatically since that time, prices have gone up dramatically, certainly. It's always been complex, and I think, they put more hurdles in front of you now, and more fees, although they always try to say they're lowering the fees, but that doesn't happen.
We were talking about some of the other markets across the country, facing issues with days on market and also facing issues with vacancies and so forth. One of the big draws of Chicago is how there's really none of that, right? And so you're seeing immediate demand, and then you're also seeing effectively no vacancies, from what I understand.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Right. I mean, if you have a good product for rent or condominiums or homes, new homes or condominiums, whether rehab or new construction, if you're in a good neighborhood, they tend to go right away. There just is not much inventory here. So it's quite different from the rest of the country where inventory is high and things are staying on the market a long time. In the better neighborhoods, I'm here in Lincoln Park and the surrounding areas here in Chicago. And in these neighborhoods, things just, they go like right away. And because of that, developers are desperate to find sites because there aren't that many sites. And so they're practically fighting over these. When something good comes on the market, there's a bidding war.
Now, when something does come on the market, is it typically a teardown from something that has been a existing structure for a long period of time?
Yeah, normally we're talking about tear downs. And, a lot of the buildings in Chicago are over 100 years old. And so, I am a broker here and have been forever, and so we sell development sites. So I'm always out there looking. And when I find sites, a lot of times I will sell them to other builders because I'm not either not interested in them or I know they're going to go for a price that's so high, I'm not going to want to touch it. So, a lot of the builders are calling me all the time looking for sites because they're scarce here.
Now, it's a years long potentially process from acquisition to, completion of construction. What is the typical time length in a project like that?
A small project, you may purchase it and then, you know, you close in a couple months and you tear it down and you can build it in less than a year. So you're talking about a little bit over a year, but a big project can easily take several years. It's got a
Now,
lot
you
more
you had
steps to it.
mentioned condos in the green room when we were talking before hopping on here,
Yeah.
and one of the things that I think is interesting about certain markets is you do see, I would say, a proliferation of condos, and it's not just because of the scarcity of land, although that is a big driving factor. It's also because people are looking at, pathways to ownership of anything, and they're realizing, well, how am I going to live in the city where this is the cost of the homes? A condo's, a way for me to get into the on ramp of real estate home ownership.
Right. Yeah. I mean, to get a home here in Lincoln Park or surrounding areas, you're talking about, an older home, 1.5 million, but usually $2, $3 million for something that's newer. So, or more, right. And, so that's why a condo is a good alternative here, and, as you say, it's an on-ramp to ownership. One thing that's been very popular here now, which I'm just developing one right now, is a building where you've got two duplex condos in there. And the duplex, you're able to have 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and a big living room, dining room, family room floor with a lot of outdoor space. And so they're attractive for people who are maybe starting a family or something like that because they got a little bit of room there where they can actually have a family, unlike a small condo where they might not have enough room. As soon as you have a family, you got to move to a bigger place.
Yeah, I think, one of the things about, and you mentioned families, it is, what are people doing if they're looking at working in Chicago, but they're also looking at the price of these homes and they're saying, well, where can we afford to live? Are you seeing the commuting distance and how far people are willing to go to get into Chicago increasing as real estate costs increase as well?
If you're looking for consistent, high quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Well, a lot more people are working from home and
Yeah.
remotely. So commuting isn't as big an issue as it used to be. There are a lot of people in the suburbs who don't come into the city to work, right? But the market that I'm in right in the city, they're generally people who work in the city and or sometimes work at home. And they want to live in the city here. So that's why they want to kind of put down roots here. and send their kids to school here and everything.
I would like to get a little bit granular on the subject of developing in a major city. I think that there's a lot of folks across the country. I'm a realtor in Texas, so the Sun Belt, right? And you're seeing a lot of people who are getting into development, single family specifically in the Sun Belt, especially. And I think this is being driven by it's tougher to be a flipper when you've got so many new builds and new subdivisions going up across the country. But if someone wanted to become a developer in a major city, there might be some more hurdles. What's the first step that you would advise they take if they're looking at getting into ground up construction in a city?
There's a lot of things you got to be familiar with, starting with the market. You got to know what the product is and what people want, right? That's the first thing. No sense in building something that nobody wants, right? So I actually have my book here I wrote a few years ago. You can focus it in there. Don't buy multifamily. It's a little bit out of focus. It's on Amazon. Don't buy multifamily, build it. And it kind of goes through the whole process step by step. But I think the takeaway from the book is that for most people, this whole process is just too complicated, and it is certainly a full-time job.
Yeah.
And people have jobs and they've got income. So for an investor, it's good if you've got somebody doing it for you that you can invest with and be able to take advantage of the market and the profit potential and the tax benefits, but still keep your income, right?
Yeah, and I was just today speaking with a multifamily syndicator, actually in Dallas Fort Worth Metro, and I do think that over the last however many so years, there's just been more interest from the general public in investing in real estate without swinging a hammer, right? And as a way to diversify from just investing in index funds or mutual funds. And part of that too is that people realize that at some point in time, if homes are $1 to $2 million right now in Chicago or more, right? When is it going to be $4 million, right? And there's no end to that, right? And so people are realizing, hey, look, if we have an opportunity right now to invest, I'm willing to bank on these properties increasing over the next 5 or 7 years, even if it means our capital is tied up for now. We'll be getting some type of distributions and rents. People are okay with that type of value proposition.
Yeah, if you're talking about a rental building, which, putting up multifamily buildings is still a good way to go here. You've got, you can refinance these after a few years and take that equity and use it, on another project or something like that. So you don't have to be tied up forever in there, right?
That's true.
And you've got the income. But you know, for most people, I think getting into some kind of a syndication or partnership is a better way to go. The learning curve is very long, and there's a lot of mistakes to be made along the way. So it's good to have the benefit of somebody else on your team who's got the know-how to do things, and not who's maybe made those mistakes years ago and that knows better than now.
There's been a lot of talk recently, I would say, about multifamily deals being harder to pencil. And as someone who's not in this space myself, it does seem to be interesting because I see multifamily going up everywhere. And so my perspective is, okay, well, it had to have been working at some point. When people are saying it's harder to pencil a multifamily development, do you know specifically what they're referring to?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of deals, for example, small deals, which I do a lot of, like a few units and for sale units, condos, homes, things like that, and the best neighborhoods here, like in Lincoln Park and that. The profit margins have gone down. They're not what they were 25 years ago or something like that. It's more competitive. And the way it works, if an investor goes in, let's say you do a couple of deals every year, right? And you're doing, and over the course, you do about 10 deals that you invest in. Some of those will be huge winners because the market swung in your favor when you went into it just by chance, because we don't know what the market's going to do tomorrow. Nobody knows that, right? And some of those, they maybe won't be so hot. The market got a little soft when you came to market because you're not coming to market for a while when you start the deal, right? And you may have one or two of those that'll be losses, right? But when you look at overall, you're making a lot of money over the years. And that's the way you have to look at it, right? You can't look at one individual deal, because timing, it always
Yeah.
varies, right?
No, I think that idea of these time horizons is something that people are looking more closely at, because for a time period, and I wasn't involved in the business, so this is secondhand, from let's say 2014 till 2020, you could potentially buy a deal wrong in a lot of markets, bank on the appreciation. People were continuing to pay more for rents. There wasn't as many of these deals coming on market as there were over the last couple of years. And so, people were still exiting with unscathed. But then, especially in Sunbelt markets, if you had lots of development going on, you couldn't just buy a deal wrong and bank off the appreciation, especially from what I understand when, potentially rents are stabilizing or even coming down in some markets, not Chicago, but in some markets. So for sure, people are more cautious now to, hey, we might not hit this in 3 years. We have to be cautious that we'll hit this in 5 years. We may potentially be looking at a longer time horizon than that.
Yeah, it's always a process, and you don't know what's going to happen. So you got to be able to navigate the waters, as they come. They say you 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 don't hire a captain to captain the boat in fair weather. It's what he can do when there's a storm that matters,
But
right?
there's a storm. That's exactly right. And I think a lot of people felt that certainly over the last couple of years, and a lot of syndicators. And I think we're still feeling that right now. Bonus question here for you, Roger. Chicago has a lot of, I would say, sections within it, right? And mini mayors or aldermans, right, throughout the city of Chicago. For folks who may not be familiar with all the parts of Chicago, is there one area right now, currently, we're talking at the end of March 2026, that you're particularly interested in or bullish on, or if you are looking at developing or investing in a certain area of Chicago that you would look at right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm mostly, again, I work on the north side, which is Lincoln Park, Lakeview, and surrounding areas, Bucktown, and all of these areas. Lincoln Park is probably the highest priced neighborhood in the city, and development sites cost the most there, but they're also in the biggest demand. So that's where they know that they've got buyers, who are well heeled and ready to buy these places, right? So different markets are different. You've got the West Loop. I've built townhomes in the West Loop before, and the West Loop is a different market, where you've got some mid-rise and high-rise buildings coming up over there.
Now, we are coming up on time here, Roger. Any new projects that you're working on? And then, as well, what's the best way for folks to reach out to you or your team?
They can get a hold of me at ld2development.com, and they grab my book on Amazon here. Don't buy multifamily, build it. A little bit out of focus there, but yeah, get a hold of me. Chicago's a great place to invest right now because inventory is very low, and it's gonna be very low for the foreseeable future. So it's a great place to be.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.